Hi. Oh, super zoomed in. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm many hours late for the Monday awareness upgrade. It's more like whenever on Mondays, it turns out. I shoot for 11 a.m., but as you can see, it doesn't always happen. So I hope you're having a good day. I wanted to drop in. This will be fairly quick today, but I have been sharing that I'm going to relaunch my Live Your Yoga program in the fall for September. And so I want to start giving some little teasers, some little intro to the philosophy and what we're going to cover, what we go through in the course. So it's the Yama and Niyama. The Yama and Niyama are the basic foundational life principles of the yogic path. So before we get to meditation, before we get to practicing poses or doing anything fancy, it's just, how do you live your life? How do you live your life with relation to yourself, with relation to others, the outer world, the mindset that provides the foundation upon which you build all the other things. So yeah, it has to do with how you treat people, how you treat yourself, and also what are the practices that you are maintaining in order to, like I said, create that strong foundation for the other things you want to do. Okay. I took a class with my teacher, Shama, yesterday, and her theme was all about how you do one thing is how you do everything. So looking at the really small day-to-day things of just how you think of yourself, how you treat yourself, what your practices are that support you to feel well and whole and connected in all the ways. So then you can build upon that. You can do bigger things. You can create, you can grow, you can have businesses and relationships and prosperity and all of the things. So the first principle is Ahimsa. Ahimsa is translated as non-violence or non-harming. And so the Live Your Yoga course is applied yoga philosophy. So taking that principle and saying, okay, interesting, non-violence, that's pretty, I get that, right? Non-harming, it's a little bit broader. We can go a little bit more deep with that. But how do I actually apply that concept to my life? So not only I'm not hurting anyone physically, I'm not enacting violence in the world, but how could I be causing harm to others and to myself in the world? So and a very important takeaway for Ahimsa is, I am part of oneness. Okay. Sometimes we see everything else as, connected and deserving kindness, deserving attention, whatever. But what about me? I am part of oneness and wholeness. So I also deserve and need to be treated with loving kindness, with the principle of Ahimsa, with non-harming. So in what ways am I giving my energy to other people, okay, or allowing something to be done to me that isn't aligned with Ahimsa? And so then I can start to see how I'm taking from myself rather than giving to myself, and it undermines my power and my ability to do other things. Okay, so Ahimsa, I think it's very important to mention that it's an ideal, and I teach this in my course. Ahimsa is an ideal. So we can't live perfectly in a way that's non-harming, right? The most extreme example of an Ahimsa practice is the Jain religion, you may have heard of. They walk with a broom, sweeping the way so that they don't harm any bugs or any sort of living organism just by their walking. Okay, and so then also they're vegetarian and all of that. So that's the most extreme. But even for them, you have to harm something in order to stay alive, right? So you have to consume something that was alive, whether it's an animal or a plant. Okay, and then inevitably throughout our lives, we have friction with other humans. Okay, someone misinterprets something that we said, or you got sick and couldn't show up for something, and someone else felt stress or whatever, just things that certainly you're not meaning to cause harm, but they do cause discomfort, they do cause stress, they do cause friction for other beings. Okay, and then there's the whole issue of consumption that I already mentioned. We are creating trash to some degree. We are creating pollution to some degree just by being here. I mean, we can debate all about to what degree the earth can regenerate and all of this sort of thing. But to some degree, we are we have footprints in the world. We make an impact both in a positive way and in a way that's somewhat destructive. So ahimsa is an ideal, very important to remember, because we need to constantly forgive ourselves, and we also get to continue to do better. So how can I do better? How can I live more aligned with ahimsa? How can I reduce the amount of harm that I cause to the world, reduce the amount of harm that I cause to other beings, other life, okay, life on earth, as well as other living beings in my social sphere, okay? And then how can I include myself as part of that equation? And inevitably, like I said, there will be some amount of pain or suffering. Even just the process of aging, of growing older in my body, there's some amount of discomfort with that as I face attachment and whatever, as the body changes. So how can I minimize? That's the big question for ahimsa. How can I continue to do better as I know better? And how can I be someone that is reducing harm in the world rather than increasing harm? Because ultimately, we're all hurt. We all have wounds. We all have things that we're carrying with us to some degree that we're working on healing, okay? And ideally we move to a point where it's just part of us in a way where we're not enacting that harm. But we're all healing. So how can I be someone who has been hurt that then is reducing hurt, that is practicing healing, rather than a person that is perpetuating hurt? I'm hurt, so I hurt someone else. You've heard the expression, hurt people hurt people. So let's not be one of those people, okay, as best we can. So I'd like to just share for our meditation the verse for ahimsa, and this is where the title of this talk came from, Radiate Love. So the verse for ahimsa from the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali says, Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. So this means one who is firmly established in the practice of ahimsa, firmly established in the practice of non-harming, will cause all other beings to relinquish harm, to relinquish violence in their presence. Okay, so if we're relinquishing harm and violence, what are we doing? Okay, we're acting peacefully. We're radiating love. All the things that are the opposite of harm, all the things that are the opposite of violence. Okay, so in practicing ahimsa, we're radiating love. So aligning our being with that notion and then going through the world and practicing as best we can to minimize, to reduce, to improve, as I said. So bring your hands to heart center. Let's do a quick time check. This is a different time. So again, the verse is Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. If you've been in my Live Your Yoga course before, then probably you know this verse. You're familiar with it, at least, if you haven't memorized it. So you're welcome to chant along. And I would love to encourage some engagement from my Live Your Yoga alumni. So if you have taken my course, drop in the comments for this one, what does ahimsa mean to you? What did you learn about ahimsa? Or anything that you'd like to share surrounding this principle, the first of the yama. So, ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. We'll exhale all the air. Inhale for Om. Om. Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. 3 more. Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. Ahimsa pratishtayam tat sanidau vairatyagaha. Last one. Ahimsa pratishtayam tatsanitau vairatyagaha. And so removing all of the obstacles from around your heart that prevent you from aligning with peace and love, compassion. And so you're radiating love, you're radiating peace. You're aligning yourself with Ahimsa, moving through the world in a way that causes minimal harm, minimal pain, minimal suffering for others, for all the beings on the earth, for the earth itself, and for you, as you are part of oneness. You're a part of the interconnected nature of everything. You're radiating love, giving love, and also giving love to yourself. And if there's something in particular that you can practice today, something you can say or do for someone else, or something that you can say or do for yourself, that would really help to fill your own well with love. So it's so overflowing and abundant and just expansive to everyone that you come in contact with. Bowing your head to your heart, letting the eyes blink open and lifting the gaze. Thanks so much, everyone. I'm going to put a link in my profile if it's not already there. If you're interested in Live Your Yoga, I'd love to talk to you. You can book a call. You can also reach out to me in the DMs and we can chat. It's going to be a 3 to 6 month group coaching, mentorship program, applied yoga philosophy, meditation, and community support, which in yoga philosophy is called Sangha, the sharing of light. So I'd love to chat with you. Have a beautiful evening. See you soon.